Good morning and welcome to the Cocktail Crew. We're getting back on track again. We've had a few little things to do the last couple of weeks, so not been keeping up as much, but we are back and we've got a really interesting topic this week. I'm joined as always by Samantha,
Hello.
and she's going to be telling us about burnout, something many of you will know a lot about.
Yeah, burnout, and I'm sure you're aware of this, Hazel. But there's a moment when all the daily noise quiets, and the to-do lists. Me and you are big on to-do lists. The to-do list fades into the background, and you realise you're just tired, and it's not the kind of tiredness that that sleep fixes, but it's deeper. There's a deeper fatigue and one that settles in the bones, and it sort of whispers to you, doesn't it, that you've been carrying too much for way
Yeah,
too long. So today we're exploring burnout, not as a buzzword, 'cause, it's banded around a lot, but as a real human experience. So so many of us are quietly living through it, and I know certainly from experience, the two of us have done. So in this episode, we're slowing it down a little bit. There's no quick fixes. No toxic positivity. Not banding that around. It's just some real, honest reflection, some shared stories, and maybe a few truths that'll help us breathe a little easier. Um, so, pour yourself something soothing. I know it's early in the morning. Um, let's have a conversation about what it means to find your way back to yourself. So where do we begin when burnout feels like the backdrop to our everyday? Maybe we need to start with acknowledging the quiet toll, and it's a quiet toll in our energy, our joy, definitely, even our sense of self. In this episode, we're unpacking the signs we always ignore. Certainly, I ignore them. It's that pressure to keep going and keep doing. And how can we begin to rebuild ourselves? And it has to be slowly, it has to be bit by gentle bit. And whether you're deep in it, like some are, or slowly coming out the other side, this conversation's, for you.
yeah,
Um, I suppose exploring the problem first of all, Hazel.
mhm,
What are the key signs of burnout? Burnout doesn't always shout. It really doesn't. Certainly in
no,
my case, it doesn't shout. It often whispers, and these signs can creep in slowly, disguising themselves as just being tired, or I'm just pushing through. I'm powering through. There are a few ways that it might show up. You know,
yeah, um,
First thing, emotional exhaustion. Certainly, I feel that. That feeling of being drained, being detached, being
yeah,
overwhelmed. Everybody reacts different to that. Certainly
yeah.
for me, Hazel, and I'm conscious I'm doing a lot of the talking right now, so I'm going to shut up in a minute and let you
That's all right.
interrupt me. I feel that, and when I'm feeling exhausted and when I'm feeling drained and overwhelmed, I react in two different ways. I could probably go over the top and really lose, it's be short tempered, or I go
Yeah,
really quiet,
yeah, that's
and
me.
it's like and I'm fine, and I'm fine, and I know I'm not fine. But that's what I'm portraying to people.
Yeah, but that's what we do, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a very British thing to do. I'm fine, but
absolutely.
it was about. Well, you asked about what are the signs, and I'd never thought of it as burnout because you just assume that that applies to people who are on the go all the time and working 12-hour shifts. But I had a situation about 3 weeks ago where about 5 or 6 things came together that I was trying to juggle, to try and diffuse the situation, to try and make everything work. And I remember just standing in the room and I thought, I can't take any more information in. And I felt this just drain all down my body. And I'm being honest here, I went to my knees because it was like a shut off. There was just no more I could cope with, and that took about 4 or 5 days to really start getting. I'm still, I'm getting better. I've obviously worked it all out and
Yeah.
had some help with it, but it was a shock, and it's just your system saying it's too much. And of
Yeah.
course, I'm a bit like you, Sam. I keep it in, and I think that's probably the worst thing we do,
Yeah. There's no
because it all
shame
then
in.
internalizes and it gangs up on you inside, and it just says, "No, I've had enough."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when I realised I was trying to take too much on. I couldn't function. And it's a wake up call. And
Yes.
I'm sure there are so many people dealing with things like this, and maybe they don't recognise it as burnout, or it's just where you've had enough. And it's a
Yeah.
really, I think it's a really important thing that people share and talk about, because it happens more than we know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You got to be kind to yourself. And another, and thank you for sharing that, Hazel. It's really powerful to do so, for others to understand they're not alone. Because often you do think, why am I not coping when everybody else around me is? But how do you know? We, we,
How
we,
do you know
we
they
we
are?
learn to put on a really strong front, don't we? We don't know what everybody else is feeling internally and what they're going through.
I think
Um,
especially these days, Sam, with everything that's going on, not just in Britain but worldwide,
yeah,
there's people under an awful lot of stress at the minute with
yeah,
their financial worries, work security, because are you going to keep a job? And everything
yeah,
is, you're thinking about that even subconsciously.
yeah,
And all that's
definitely,
building up as well with the
yeah,
stress of everything at the minute. So, yeah, I
yeah,
definitely think sharing it is a good.
yeah. I mean, other signs of burnout, reduced performance. Are you struggling to focus in your day-to-day life, not just at work, but just generally? Are
Yep.
you feeling ineffective, or are you losing motivation? And I certainly lose motivation, and it's that feeling of what's the point? Why am
Yeah.
I trying so hard? Why do I need to bother? It's that negativity that creeps in, isn't it? Which and that's another key sign.
Yeah.
Cynicism and detachment. You become so disengaged and frustrated. I get frustrated. Or indifferent towards work and responsibilities. It's like you're just going through the motions, I guess, don't you? But you
Yeah.
just going through the functions, and there's nothing extra. And physical symptoms of that: headaches,
Oh.
sleep disturbance, digestive issues, frequent illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Your immune system goes down. You're susceptible to more illnesses. I certainly get a lot more headaches when I'm a bit more stressed and burnt out, which then interrupts the sleep. And everybody knows once your sleep starts to become
Oh, that's
impacted,
a vicious
it
circle then.
it absolutely is. Yeah,
I get
yeah.
terrible blisters on my hands when
Really?
I become. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's apparently it's a virus or something that when you become overwhelmed and things, my hands and feet blister. It's not very attractive, um,
Well, that's how it's
but it's a physical
manifesting in
sign.
you. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that flares up because you've kept stuff in for so long that it then starts to come out on you, and differently you get
yeah,
headaches. I'm not too bad with them, but yeah, my fingers and all that all just start thousands of little blisters all over me.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
it does have a big effect on people. When I'm not
yeah,
just saying it's burnout, because I don't want people to think that we're talking about just working a 16-hour shift. We're talking about it's mentally everything as well. It's your family, it's your who you're worried about, who you're caring for, what you're trying to do, and are we going to get this company off the up and
yeah,
started sap, all of those things. It's
yeah.
about
It
a
is.
combination of everything.
Yeah. And if any of those key signs resonate with anyone listening, just know you're not alone. You're not
Oh
doing
please,
anything
yeah.
wrong, and you do feel like you're doing something wrong. But
You do.
sometimes the strongest thing we can do is name what's happening, And I think that's the reason why we're doing this podcast today.
Yeah.
You know, burnout doesn't appear out of nowhere. It builds quietly and gradually, and like you said, Hazel, it's under the weight of the things we feel we have to carry,
Yeah.
and that's just on a day-to-day basis. You know, and there's some common roots to burnout. One, you know, an obvious one, excessive workload. You know,
Hmm.
too many responsibilities with very little time to recover is a key
Yeah.
one. Lack of control. I hate not being in control.
I
You
know
know,
that,
that
Sam.
feeling of powerless over decisions or
Yeah.
conditions, whether that's in your personal life or your work life. But yeah, that's a big one for me. I don't like being out of control.
Well, I noticed
Unclear.
that.
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, I noticed that I have to apologise to Sam on air,
You
as it were,
don't.
because I was trying to help my dad pack the caravan because he's away down to Chester for some truck show, and I was 15 minutes late for the podcast because it all got too much. I was trying to get his clothes and everything in, and I forgot. So,
And I'm
see,
like,
it
where
happens,
are
but
you?
I know.
No, but no, I mean that's you know, there's some things that are out of control, out of your control, aren't there? But yeah, I do like to have, and I think that's why I'm structured, which was mentioned before.
Yeah.
Um, Unclear expectations. You know, are you uncertain about you know, certain roles that you have to undertake, certain responsibilities and goals? You know, that can cause
Yeah.
an issue, burnout. Work-life imbalance. You know, are you neglecting personal needs due to work demands? And I think that could impact a lot of people. You know, I think since COVID, work-life balance is probably a little bit better, but there's still work to be done on that. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
lack of
Definitely.
support as well. You
Mm.
know, are you feeling isolated? Are you feeling unsupported? And that's personally and professionally as well. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of, you know, issues that, you know, common reasons for burnout. And the thing is, you know, recognizing these pressures isn't a weakness.
No,
It's almost a wisdom, isn't it? You know,
it's
because you know it, you can recognize it, and when we name the weight we're feeling on our shoulders, we give ourselves permission to set it down,
mhm.
even if it's just for a minute.
When I spoke to you and Kate the other day just about the last couple, I felt a huge freedom because
Yeah,
it literally, I know it's a saying, but you literally feel a weight coming off you because
yeah,
you thought, it's all right, I can actually tell people about this and people aren't going to think bad of me. They're actually going to
absolutely.
suggest things that I can do and understand why I might be a bit off these
Yeah,
days or
yeah.
something, and it's a freeing. And so I think, yeah, definitely it's not something to be embarrassed about, or I think more and more these days you need to share it.
Mm, absolutely, yeah, yeah. Because you know, more than we know, we're suffering, you know, and
Hmm.
struggling, and everyone's at a different point in the journey. You know, I wouldn't think I'm completely out of burnout. I think I'm probably working through it.
Yeah,
But it's one day at a time, isn't it? You have to, you know, you have to work at it. You have to be
I
kind
think
to
what you said,
yourself.
the motivation is the bit I find hardest because that's a real effort to make yourself get up and keep going.
Yeah.
But you have to. Um,
Yeah. And that leads us to, you know, how can we prevent and recover from it? I think that ties in really nicely what we've just said, you know. What for me, setting boundaries, you know, prioritize your self-care, and that's what we don't do. And say no to
no,
those excessive demands. You know, if it's too much, you're going to have to say no, or to say yes. What are you making room for? What are you putting down to take something else on? That's what we have to do. It's those boundaries. You know, this is not something I do, but practice. Well, I suppose I do in some respects. Practice mindfulness. I can't even get the word out. Engage in activities that will reduce the stress you're feeling, like
Yeah.
meditation. I don't meditate, or exercise. I do that. For example, this morning I was in the gym, so that's my that's
Oh,
my
yeah.
way of practicing. I was, yeah, gym this morning, practicing mindfulness. Seek support. You've just said speaking to me and Kate earlier this week has helped you.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
talk to friends, talk to families. If you
Hmm.
can't do that, there's professionals out there about your
Yeah.
struggles. There really
But
is.
speak to
There's
friends first. I would
yeah,
always say that's the best way to. They know you better and they will understand it. Can I also give you some positive thing that I found? I
yeah.
think I may have mentioned it to you and Kate, but I love reading. And
Mm,
I'd read, I believe it's Andy McNabb, and he says when you do think you're at your lowest, and remember, I'm not talking about being hiding behind a tree from some war
yeah,
situation, but he said when you think you've hit the worst and you can't go anymore, he's got the 40% rule. There's still more in you than you actually realise. And you just need to channel that and say, right, I'm feeling this bad, I'm worn out, I'm exhausted, I can't do any more, but you can. So it's a positive little thing just to
definitely.
keep in mind because
Yeah.
it helped me 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we need to reevaluate our priorities, don't we?
Hmm.
Identify what truly matters to us and adjust the commitments accordingly. Life is made up of a lot of noise and
Yeah,
some of it's irrelevant noise. So recognize that, put that noise down
that's
and just
important, Sam.
focus on those relevant priorities. And
Because
you've just touched, sorry,
mm.
go on.
No, I was just going to say that noise because I'm a chronic worrier, and
Yeah.
to try and separate and get rid of things is I find really difficult. But I'm working on it, but it can cause me exhaustion when it
Mm,
doesn't sound like it should, but it does because you
absolutely.
mentally get
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And you've just touched on it, take breaks. You've just said you love reading. That's
Oh
a
yeah,
perfect thing just to rest and recharge, to maintain that long-term well-being. So that's really
playing
important.
music. I love my guitar, my
Yeah.
flute, my yeah. Oh, that
Yeah.
you do art. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
you started that again, haven't you? Just to.
Yeah. Yeah, I've started, yeah, done something for me.
Mhm.
And that was from going to see Ranjan Chatterjee, actually. It's
Oh,
something he says, what do you do that's just for you? And I don't. Yeah, okay, I go to the gym. And I haven't drawn for 30 years.
I
I went
know.
to uni for an art degree, and I used to love it. And
Hmm.
it was like just a couple of weeks ago, I picked up a pencil again for the first time in 30 years, and I'm starting slowly
It's
but
nice.
surely,
It's
bit at a
enjoyable.
time, even if it's just half an hour each night, but not every night. When I feel like it, I've picked up I've started drawing again, and and I always said I'm going to do a portrait of my daughter, and not a self portrait because that'd be me, portrait of my daughter. And I've been saying it to her, and I've been saying it to husband. She's 13 and I hadn't done it, so I've started to do it now, and I'm really
Nice.
enjoying it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Well, like I say, mine's music because I can't draw a straight line, so I'm just learning the guitar at the minute. But
That's
I
brilliant.
enjoy just that's my happy space, my little me time that I do something that I want to learn, that I want to enjoy.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
important, and it has made a
absolutely.
difference.
Yeah, yeah. And burnout's serious, but it's not
It's
permanent.
huge.
And with the right strategies, we do recover. Recovery is possible.
Oh yeah.
Um, uh, but obviously, I think it's important to mention for more in-depth insights into burnout, we're no specialists by any means, feel free to check out resources like Mental Health UK,
Yeah.
etc. So,
I
so
mean,
how
we're
do we
not.
prevent? Go on.
Sorry, I'm just going to say we're not specialists, but you don't need to be just to share your account of it.
No.
And there are great resources out there, but like we say, we're just trying to let people know that it's okay to talk about,
Yeah.
even talk to your friend, cup of tea, that sort of thing. But there's brilliant Mental Health UK is a fantastic website to go to. Have you got any more?
Um, just that one. There's positive psychology, I believe, as well. But start with mental health.
And the Wellbeing Hub, I
UK.
don't know if you have that in England. We've got it here in Scotland, I'm not sure.
Sure. But certainly, certainly put it in. Start with mental health UK and
Yeah,
see what it brings up as well. When we recognise burnout, it's not as a personal failure because I think we sometimes think it is, don't we? We
yeah.
see I can't mention it. I'm failing. I'm no good. I'll just go for me. Go back in my box. But it's a signal. It opens that door to healing, and recovery isn't always quick. It's a slow burn, isn't it? Healing.
Oh
But
yeah, it's not an instant.
yeah,
I'm actually just considering what Mel Robbins would have to say about burnout. I'm going to actually look that up after because I bet she's got some interesting
yeah,
insight to that as well.
yeah. And you've mentioned already the 40% rule. Other
Yeah.
things. Practical tools. Journal prompts. Ask yourself a question: What parts of me have been? What parts of me have been whispering for rest? And how can I start listening more closely? So it's that reflection, isn't it? Take
Oh
time,
yeah.
whether it's in the morning or at the end of the day, just take that time to reflect on you and how you feel and how you felt.
Hmm.
Might make a difference.
That's a huge part of my
Yeah.
my my little, I don't know, routine I've got into that
Mm.
does definitely help me. Just at the end of the night, just quick sort of write about what I've thought about through the day, and it kind of gives me a better sleep because
Yeah.
I've got it out my head and
Yeah, you're really
into my
big on
little book.
journaling. And I keep saying I'm going to do it. I still haven't, but I do think it's definitely something I need to start doing.
It's my love of stationery, Sam. You should
Yeah,
have loads of pink and yellow and orange journals by now.
yeah, I should definitely take 5 or 10 minutes every hour, every hour and a half, just to stretch, breathe, just step
Yeah,
outside. It's beautiful at the minute in the UK. Step outside. It's not slacking because that's what again. I can't leave my desk. I have to work till I finish work. I can't, but you can move. It's resetting your nervous system almost, isn't it? It's resetting you. Take that break. Go and look, go and listen. What those have you said it before? What are the five things I can see? What are the five things I can hear? What are
yeah.
five things I can smell? I think it was you or Kate. One of you has said that. Just take that time to recalibrate.
There's a lot of companies doing that now, though. They say to people if they need a 5 minute walk, a stretch, just go outside to clear your head. It's allowed. It shouldn't. But you understand what I mean. It's not that
Yeah,
it's allowed, but it's encouraged. Just to give people that 5 minutes, just to go and, like you say, reset yourself.
yeah,
Again,
yeah,
again, I'm talking about Scotland. You'll know England more than,
yeah,
but yeah, that it's encouraged here.
yeah. Nourish before you numb. That sounds a really funny comment, but before reaching for your phone or food, I do both.
Do
Ask
you?
yourself, oh God, yeah. Yeah. Ask yourself, what do I really need right now? Is it
I'm
a glass
rubbish. I
of
never take my
water?
phone. I,
Is it a
I always, that's
walk?
how I missed your call this morning.
Yeah. Is it a hug? Yeah. I have three
What?
phones.
No way.
Two. Well, one's my personal, one's my work, one's my business. Yeah.
Do you know
But
what I'm
yeah.
guilty of, Sam? I put the news on as soon as I'm up. I mean, I was staying at my dad's last night, knocked on his door at 4:30 this morning, and he was up watching the news. I said, "Can you believe what's just happened?" Now, I won't mention Trump or anything, but
Yeah.
I've got to stop doing that. You said that to me. Stop watching it as much because you're just
Yeah.
filling your head with stuff I can't do anything about.
And I've said to you, it makes me probably uneducated, but I never listen to the news. Never, never.
It's probably wise.
Mm,
It's just, well, there's never any good news, so
yeah. Use the 333 rule. There's another idea. Each day, I suppose you could
Yeah.
use this when you journal as well. 3 things you're grateful for. Three
Okay.
minutes of deep breathing or exercise or whatever. And 3 minutes to move your body.
Really? Not heard of that.
Yes, this is deep breathing. Yeah, 3 minutes to be grateful for. 3 minutes deep breathing.
Oh,
3 minutes of moving your body.
right. I
Mm.
hadn't heard of that. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
tight little tiny powerful shifts.
Mm.
Say no with a soft landing. We don't like upsetting people, do we? But let's try. Oh, I'd really love to help, but I'm at capacity right now. Or
I
can we
know it's
revisit that later? Boundaries are so important. You don't have to be blunt to
no.
be
You can do
firm.
it in a nice way. Yeah, I think that's because we. I wouldn't like to hurt somebody or upset them, but if
No.
I could do it in a nice way, then yeah,
Yeah, you don't
I'll
want
get
to
back
upset
to you on that.
others.
Yeah.
I totally get that. You don't want to upset others.
Mm.
But you don't. You've got to be kind to you as
Mm.
well.
Yeah. No,
Reconnect
that's
with your
important.
why.
Yeah.
Reconnect with your why. Obviously, burnout. Certainly, this is how I felt. Disconnects us from our purpose. So revisit what lights you up. And we've said that. Even if it's just a flicker. So for you, it's music. For me, it was art. And
Mm-hmm.
when I walk my dog, I have my headphones in and I have the music so loud I can't hear
Yeah.
anything else because that's my decompression time. I walk at his pace, and he's not a quick dog, bless him. He's an old dog now. Walk at his pace. When he stops, I stop. You just take it all in. It's
Mm. Do
really
you know what I've been
important.
missing, Sam? My
What?
swimming, because this year
Yeah,
I'm still what we're on over 2.5 months now, and they're still trying to
yeah.
treat it, and I just want to get back in the pool because that is my. I don't think about anything.
It's where you
I love.
decompress, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So hopefully in the next month I'll be getting back there because that's my little free time, and
yeah,
my
yeah.
head thinks about nothing, just swimming.
And that's good. We need to clear the mind now and
Yeah,
again, don't we?
it does, and
Really
that's what it
do.
does. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, have you got anything to end us?
I've got before we close, I've got a recipe if you want to hear that.
I have not been organised enough to have it with me, so Sam is going to, because I've had a bit of a mad morning. So, Sam, please do tell us the recipe.
Yes, we've got a recipe. Sips for the soul, we'll call it. It's the burnout soother. So first one, half a cup of fresh orange juice. We all need that vitamin C boost. That was really important. Half a cup of coconut water, and that really helps the hydration and
Oh, does
electrolytes
it?
as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So, and I love coconut. I love it. Quarter of a teaspoon of sea salt. And the sea salt helps to replenish those
Yep,
minerals.
I'm
Um,
with that. Yep.
yeah, a dash of fresh lemon juice as well.
Love
That's
lemon.
for
I use
that's
it
for
on everything.
potassium. Yeah,
Hmm.
orange and lemon, they're classic combinations, aren't they?
Oh, but I
Really?
love lemon on fish, on chicken,
Yeah,
on in
yeah,
water. I just love lemon. Yeah.
yeah. And optional, if you want, a splash of coconut milk, just for that little bit of creaminess.
Ooh,
Mm.
that's a
And
new
then
one.
ice and a slice of orange or a sprig of rosemary to garnish. Um, and shake it up, pour it over ice, sip slowly, preferably with your feet up and your phone on silent.
I
Me
can do
time.
that.
Yeah. Burnout recovery just isn't about mindset. And I think a lot of it is the mindset of allowing yourself time, isn't it? It's about replenishing what's
What you've
quietly
lost.
being depleted. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, and just getting
definitely.
yourself slowly.
Yeah,
But you said earlier, it takes a little bit of time. You've got to build yourself back up again, and so
yeah,
that's that. I actually like that recipe, and I will be
yeah.
trying that.
Fabulous. So, if any part of today's conversation resonated with our audience, just know this: burnout doesn't mean you're broken.
Oh no.
It really doesn't. It's a signal, not a sentence. It's okay to step back and let things drop. That's fine. To let yourself feel tired. In fact, it's more than okay. It's human.
It's just a
So,
warning. Like if you put your
absolutely.
finger on the stove, you pull it away because it's burnt. It's just your body saying you need to do something about the situation you're in because it's
Yeah,
had enough. So it's only
yeah,
a warning, but it is fixable.
yeah. It allows us to take a breath, to give ourselves permission to pause. And remember, you don't have to do it all to be worthy of rest. You really don't.
I'm just
Just,
looking at my
just,
little dog here who's quite happily asleep because she's had her breakfast, she's been out for her walk, and she said, well, it's time to sleep now because I've had enough.
yeah. My
And
dog,
they
he's
do
had a
it, yeah,
sleep.
naturally. Yeah.
I've heard him howling because he's had a nightmare. So and he wants me, he wants to come. So yeah. So if you've heard him howling, sorry, he
Oh, I
just
didn't
needs
actually hear.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. Today's topic burnout. Obviously, we'll be back soon again. With more real talk, but for now, please be gentle with yourselves.
Yep. Take
Yeah,
care.
and you too, and hopefully you come out the other side of it, Hazel, which you are doing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm well on my way now. But
good.
anyway, thanks, Sam,
Me
so
too.
much, and I'll speak to you soon.
No problem. Speak to you all
Okay.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.